Hey, awesome people. Welcome back. Mr. C here with you with another fractions video. Make sure if you learn anything at all, click the like and subscribe button. Join us as we continue making math understandable and challenging. This video is going to be focusing on understanding the subtraction of fractions. Teaching video, we are going to be looking at how to subtract fractions with like denominators. If you haven't had a chance, or if you're new with us and you haven't seen our other 4th grade fractions video, there is a playlist in the description below that has all of our 4th grade videos. We have covered a lot. We also have our 3rd grade fractions playlist in the description, and you know what? We've even got the 2nd grade fractions videos. They are all in the description below. Check out those playlists if you haven't had a chance yet. This video, again, we are going to focus on the subtracting of fractions with like denominators teaching video. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started with a subtraction problem. But before we do, a couple of reminders. One, make sure you have a growth mindset. Make sure your mind is in the right spot, meaning that you are okay with the challenge. You're looking for your mistakes. You're going to use your mistakes to help you get better, okay? Do not give up if you struggle. Second reminder I want to give you real quick. Make sure you have something to be able to erase with, whether that's an eraser, whether that's a whiteboard, something like that, because the models we're going to be using today is going to be a lot of subtraction. Okay, that's obviously what we're doing, subtraction. So you're going to want to have something that you can use to kind of erase things with. Okay, so with that being said, take a look at our first problem. First problem we have is 3/4 minus 1/4. And the way I'm going to kind of get started with this is just going to kind of draw some models and kind of use that to help us solve it. That's what we've done so far, and what I always tell you is never be afraid to draw a picture, never be afraid to use your fingers in math, okay? So you can kind of think already when you're looking at this that you already know what subtraction means, okay? Subtraction means that we are taking away. It means that we're going to take away. And so in this problem here, we have 3/4 as a fraction, and we are going to take away another fourth. Okay? So thinking about what you already know about fractions, you may already have an idea of what we should do here. You already know some things about subtraction, so you probably have an idea of what we may do here. Those are two really important things. You've done a lot with fractions, and you've done a lot with subtraction already. We're just going to apply what you already know into this problem. Okay? So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a model here. Okay, I think that's the best way to kind of get started. So let me draw a model on the screen. So we've got 3/4 minus 1/4, and the first thing I want to also talk about, not the first thing because obviously we've been talking, but one of the things I want to point out to you is I want you to look at these denominators real quick. Do you notice how these denominators are the same? They're like denominators, they're common denominators. Well, just like we talked about in addition of fractions, when we were adding fractions, the denominators needed to be the same. When we are subtracting fractions, it's going to be the same thing. So make sure our denominators are the same. If they're not, that means that we're going to have a little bit of extra work to do. And we're going to learn about that later on. But right now, our denominators are the same. Keep an eye on that, okay? So because they're the same, that's going to help us when we're drawing our model. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw fourths in our model. So there's a fourth, there's a fourth, and there's a fourth. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to color in 3/4. Okay, let's color that in. Let's go with purple. So let's color in 3/4 of this model. There's 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. Okay, so we've got 3/4. I'm actually going to write it in purple up here so that way we have it. 3/4, and we're going to be taking away 1/4. Okay, we're going to be taking away 1/4. And I want you to just think for a second. Do you have any ideas how we could show that on our model? How could we show that we are taking away 1/4? Well, there's a couple ways you could do it. Okay, there's a couple ways, and I'm going to show you kind of a couple ways. One way that you could do it is you could just erase, right? We could use the eraser and we could erase however many we need to. Okay, we could do that. We could take our pencil or our markers and we could mark out however many we need to. Whichever way you want to do it is totally cool. Okay, what I'm going to do is probably both. Okay, I'm going to use both. So I have 3/4. It's in purple on the screen here on my model, and I want to take away 1/4. How much is that? All right, how much is 1/4? If I'm saying I want you to take away 1/4, how much is that? Well, it's 1 out of 4 pieces, right? It's a 1/4. So we're taking a 1/4 away. How many 1/4s do we have right now? Well, look on the screen here. Our model tells us that we have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. That's how much we've colored in. We've shaded in 3/4 because that's how much we have. And if we're going to take away a 1/4, then what we're doing is we're going to be taking away one of these 1/4s. So I drew an X here to show you, and what we're doing is we're taking away a 1/4. So if we took away a 1/4, how much is left over? How much do we still have? If we had 3/4 to start off with, and we take away 1/4, how much do we still have, ladies and gentlemen? Look on the screen. What's our model show us? 1/4, 2/4. 3/4 minus 1/4 equals 2/4. Pause for a second. Okay, I want you to pause. Take a look at what we just did up here. How did we get 2/4? All right, ignore our model for right now. Okay, ignore that. Act like our model isn't there. How did we get 2/4? By just using this expression up here. Notice we subtracted 3 minus 1. We subtracted the numerators and we got 2. Did we subtract the denominators? No. All right, you're never going to subtract your denominators. Your denominators stay the same. Because they're the same denominator already, we don't have to subtract them. Okay, we leave them the same. Just like when we were adding fractions, when we add fractions, we do not add the denominators. When we subtract fractions, we do not subtract the denominators. Keep that in mind. When you add or subtract fractions, you do not add and you do not subtract the denominators. Okay, so back to our model. Does our model match what our expression was telling us? Yes, it does. 2/4 up here, 2/4 in the model. Okay, so if that one's a little bit confusing, it's our first time subtracting fractions. Don't beat yourself up. Remember, first time doing it, you may not know how to do it yet. Yet is the key word. Stick with it. Try another one with us, and let's see how you do. So here's our next one on the screen. We've got 5/6 minus 2/6, and we want to figure out what that is going to equal. I'm going to go ahead and change the colors of our numbers here. So we've got 5/6 in the pink, and let's go with 2/6 in the teal color. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a model. Okay, it's just going to help me get started. What I want you to ask yourself while I'm drawing this model here is I want you to ask yourself, what are you noticing about these denominators? Okay, because that's really important. Before we can do anything, before we can really solve this problem, we got to look at these denominators. And what these denominators are telling me is that they're the same. Because these denominators are the same, then we can go ahead and subtract these fractions. Okay, well, these are like denominators. They're common denominators. They're the same. Because they're the same, because they're like denominators, that's going to take away another extra step for us, and we're going to be able to go ahead and solve it. Whew, I got ahead of myself there. Okay, so same denominators. Let's draw 6th in this model. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sweet. Okay. First things first, our first fraction here is 5/6. So let's color in 5/6 because that's how much we have. We have 5/6, and then we're going to be taking away from that 5/6. Okay. So let's label that. We've got 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. Some of you may not have to label it. I do. It helps me to be able to see it. Okay. So there's 5/6. How much are we taking away? How much are we subtracting from 5/6? Well, the subtraction sign here says we are going to take away 2/6. Okay, we have 5/6 of a whole. We're going to take away 2/6, and we're going to see how much we have left. Okay, so let's take away 2/6. There's 1/6 I just took away. There's 2/6 I just took away. Notice I took away a 1/6. I took away another 1/6. Both of these here are 2/6. Okay, that's what I want you to notice. We took these two away. When we marked them out, we were taking it away. Another way you could have done it is you could have did this. You could have just erased them. Okay, that's another way you could have showed it. All right, I wanted to be able to show you by me marking it out as well. Okay, so we took away 2/6. My question is now, how many do we have left over? What do we have after we've subtracted that? 1/6, 2/6, 3/6. Now ignore the model for a second. Ignore this. Take a look at our expression up here. Notice, how did we get this 3 in our numerator? We subtracted the numerators, 5 minus 2, and got 3. We did not subtract the denominators. The denominators we do not subtract. They stay the same. All right, now take a look at our model. Take a look at what we got up here as an answer. Notice our answer for both was 3/6. Here's our answer in our model. Here's our answer when we're solving it using our operations. Okay, ask yourself, where's your mistake at? What are you confused on? What doesn't make sense? Pause for a second. Slow yourself down. Try to find your mistake. And then try this next one with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last one here for you on the screen. We've got 4/5 minus 2/5, trying to figure out what this one is. Feel free to pause me if you want and try this one out on your own. But the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take a look at your fractions, okay? Take a look at the denominators of your fractions. Are they the same? Are your denominators the same? If they are, great, we can solve it right away. If they're not the same, then we'll have some extra steps that we'll need to do. Let's look. 5 in this fraction, 5 in this fraction. They are the same. They're like denominators, so we can go ahead and start solving it. So let's do this. I have a model. You may not need a model at this point. If so, that's awesome. If you need one, draw it. Okay, draw it. Do what you need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my model. Need to color in 4/5 because that's how much we have. In our problem here, we have 4/5. So there's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and 4/5. I'll even label it so it's easier to see. Whoops, I wrote 4th. There's a 5th, 2/5, 3/5. And 4/5. All right, how much are we taking away? In this problem, it looks like we're going to be taking away 2/5. Okay, so we're going to take away. We're taking away. We started off with 4/5 of a whole, and we're taking away 2/5 of that same whole. Okay, notice they're the same model that we're taking away from. I'm not drawing another model and taking away because this fraction, 4/5, I'm taking away 2/5 from it. It's all in the same model because it's 4/5 of one whole. Okay, so let me mark out 2/5. There's 1/5. There's 2/5. Let's see if we can solve it up here before we get our answer in the model. 4 minus 2, remember we subtract the numerators. 4 minus 2 is 2. Do we subtract the denominators? Trick question. Don't let it mess you up. Do not subtract the denominators. Don't be writing 0 up here. Okay, don't subtract the denominators. 5 minus 5, they do not get subtracted. Denominator stays the same. Does this match our model? Let's look. 1/5, 2/5. Boom, there it is. All right, so again, slow yourself down. Ask yourself, where are you making mistakes at? What are you confused at? What isn't making sense? This is something that's brand new with this. All right, we haven't subtracted fractions yet. This is our first time doing it. We did 3 problems here together. If you were making mistakes, find those mistakes. Don't give up on it, all right? Keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. In the description below, you will find our practice problems video. Check out that video if you're ready for some more practice problems. We would love to see you get very, very good at this skill and master it, all right? If you learned anything new at all, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. Join us as we continue making math understandable and challenging. That's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. C, out.